Imagine this: a rapper from Daegu, who years ago was still sleeping in a cramped practice room, chasing his dream of becoming a musician, quietly put his money into one of the most ambitious companies on the planet, a rocket company owned by the richest man in the world. And when that company finally went public in the largest IPO in US history, the value of his stake reportedly soared dozens of times over. This isn't fiction. This isn't a K-drama plot. This is the news that just shook the K-pop world and the finance world at the same time. Bts Suga is reportedly one of the early investors in Spacex, Elon Musk's aerospace company. How exactly does a K-pop idol end up in a space investment portfolio? How big were his gains? And most importantly, is this report actually true, or just wild speculation floating around the internet? Stick around until the end, because we're breaking all of this down straight from the original sources, including HYB's response and the public reaction. Before we get into the details that will make your jaw drop, it's important to first clarify where this news actually came from. The story originated from a South Korean media outlet called Italy, one of the country's respected business and economic news outlets. In late June 2026, Italy published a report citing anonymous sources within the investment banking industry. According to these sources, Suga, whose real name is Min Yoongi, had invested in SpaceX long before the company officially went public. What's interesting is that this investment wasn't made by simply buying SpaceX shares directly the way you'd buy stock through a regular trading app. Suga reportedly invested through a Korean venture capital firm called Link Asset Partners, also referred to as Link Asset Management. This firm is said to be the first domestic Korean institution to invest in SpaceX while the company was still private, meaning it hadn't yet gone public. This distinction matters. When a company is still private, its shares aren't freely traded on an exchange. Usually only large institutional investors, venture capital firms, or individuals with special connections can get in. So if it's true that Suga participated through Link Asset Partners, that means he had access to one of the most exclusive investment opportunities in the world of global finance. Italy's report suggested this investment was likely made sometime before 2022. However, the source did not reveal the exact amount invested. All they confirmed was that Suga still holds his shares to this day and has recorded, in the words of the investment banking source, an overwhelming rate of return. Several other major outlets went on to confirm and expand on this report, including the Korea Herald, the Korea Times, Korea Boo, and international outlets like VN Express, WION, and Business Today. So this isn't just gossip from some random social media account. This is a report that's been picked up by mainstream news outlets. But, and this is a point we absolutely need to underline, this report is still considered reported, not officially confirmed. There has been no direct statement from Suga himself, and as we'll get into shortly, HYB, his agency, also chose not to comment on the specifics. So even though the sources are credible, we still need to treat this information as a media report rather than a 100% confirmed fact. To really understand the scale of this surprise, we need to back up a bit and talk about SpaceX itself. SpaceX, the company Elon Musk founded in 2002, was initially seen by many as a long shot. Rockets exploded, missions failed, and plenty of people doubted Musk's dream of bringing humans to Mars. But 2 decades later, SpaceX turned into one of the most valuable companies in the world, even before it officially became a public company. Consider these numbers. In 2020, SpaceX's valuation was estimated at around $46 billion. A year later, in 2021, that figure jumped to around $100 billion. This alone made it one of the most valuable non-public startups on the planet, surpassing many long-established tech giants. But the real peak came on June 12, 2026, when SpaceX finally went public on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange. And this wasn't just any IPO, it was recorded as the largest IPO in United States history. With an offering price of around $135 per share, SpaceX's market capitalization immediately soared to a staggering figure, approximately $1.77 trillion, and it kept climbing past the $2 trillion mark by late June 2026. To put that into perspective, this IPO raised more than $75 billion by selling around 556 million Class A shares. Interestingly, Spacex allocated about 30% of its initial shares to everyday retail investors, far higher than the typical 5 to 10% allocation seen in standard IPOs. And who benefited the most from this surge in value? Elon Musk himself, of course. His net worth soared past the $1 trillion mark, making him the first person in the world to officially reach trillionaire status. It's in the middle of this excitement that Bts Suga's name came up. If it's true he became an investor before 2022, when SpaceX's valuation was only between $46 and $100 billion, then the surge to $1.77 trillion means the profit he could have made is enormous. This is the part that leaves a lot of people stunned. Several outlets tried to estimate the return on Suga's investment based on roughly when he might have entered. If Suga became an investor around 2021, when SpaceX's valuation was around $100 billion, then with the current valuation at $1.77 trillion, the potential increase in value is estimated at around 1,670%, or roughly 16 to 17 times his original investment. But if it turns out he got in even earlier, say around 2020 when the valuation was still around $46 billion, the potential increase is far more staggering, estimated to reach around 3,750%, which rounds out to roughly 40 times the original investment. Some outlets, like the Korea Times, took a more conservative approach, estimating a minimum return of around 20 times, while still noting the possibility of up to 40 times if the investment was made earlier. Let's put this into a simple illustration to make it easier to picture. An Indian outlet, Business Today, gave an example. If someone invested around 1 crore Indian rupees, roughly equivalent to $12,000, then with a 40-fold return, that investment could now be worth around 40 crore rupees before taxes and other costs. Of course, all of this remains within the realm of estimates and projections based on publicly available valuation data. We don't know exactly how much Suga actually invested, so the precise figures remain a mystery. But in terms of percentage growth, whoever entered during that period, whether it's Suga or other investors through Link Asset Partners, is likely smiling quite a bit right now. What's even more interesting, these reports note that the main driver behind SpaceX's surge in value isn't purely speculative market hype. There's real business substance behind it. The continued success of SpaceX's Falcon rocket program, the rapid expansion of its Starlink satellite internet business, now reaching millions of users worldwide, and growing investor demand for the space technology sector. Now let's talk about why this news is causing such a stir, especially among K-pop fans and ARMY. Up until now, when we talk about investments made by K-pop idols, the most common pattern usually revolves around real estate. Buying luxury apartments in Gangnam, land in up-and-coming areas, or commercial buildings for rental income. This has become something of a standard investment path for many Korean celebrities, including several BTS members themselves, who are known to be active in the domestic real estate sector. But Suga? If this report is accurate, he chose a completely different path, entering the field of aerospace engineering, a highly technical, high-risk sector, but one with the potential for extraordinary returns if it pays off. This is clearly not a conventional investment choice for a musician, let alone a K-pop idol. Several outlets have highlighted this as evidence that Suga has a notably different and forward-thinking approach to asset management compared to many of his peers in the industry. It's also being viewed as a kind of new milestone in how Asian celebrities are beginning to explore cross-border, cross-sector asset diversification, moving well beyond just real estate or entertainment ventures. On top of that, the timing of this news feels particularly fitting. Suga is currently on tour with BTS worldwide, and recently drew attention after appearing on stage at a concert at the Metropolitano Stadium in Madrid wearing an unreleased Atletico Madrid jersey. So it's fair to say Suga's name has been buzzing in public conversation from multiple angles lately, both from a music career standpoint and now, from the world of global investment. Picture the reaction from ARMY around the world once this news started spreading. Social media timelines were immediately flooded with a mix of pride, amazement, and disbelief. Many jokingly referred to Suga as a producer who's also a financial genius, while others remained half convinced, half skeptical, given how large the numbers involved actually are. Now, Here's a part we need to address carefully, because this is where the mystery really lies. When Italy attempted to get direct confirmation from HYB, the agency representing Suga and BTS, the company chose not to provide a specific confirmation or denial. According to the report, HYB stated that it's difficult for the company to confirm matters related to an artist's personal affairs. This kind of response is actually fairly common in the Korean entertainment industry. Agencies tend to protect the privacy of their artists' personal financial matters, especially when it involves investments outside the entertainment sector. So HYB's no comment stance could be interpreted two ways. Either the information is sensitive and they don't want it publicized, or they themselves don't have full certainty about the details of Suga's personal investment. What's clear is that, as of this video, there has been no official confirmation directly from Suga, nor any explicit statement from HYB confirming or denying the details of Italy's report. So we still need to treat this news as a credible media report, but not yet a fully verified fact. Once this news went viral, public reaction was mixed. Across various social media platforms, many netizens expressed both shock and admiration at Suga's investment move, calling it remarkably visionary. Some pointed out that Suga has always been known as a relatively private and calm member of BTS, yet apparently possessed financial insight far beyond what most people expected. Others highlighted the interesting business angle, how a musician managed to gain access to such an exclusive investment opportunity, one that even many professional investors struggle to access when a company like Spacex is still privately held. On the other hand, some netizens remained more skeptical, pointing out that this report is still based on anonymous sources and lacks official confirmation. So there were also voices urging caution against treating this as absolute fact before any direct statement from the parties involved. Regardless of the debate over its validity, one thing is certain. This topic has pulled Suga's name into a conversation far broader than just the music industry, extending into the world of business, technology, and global investment. It's proof of how far a K-pop idol's influence can reach beyond the entertainment industry itself. So, let's wrap all of this up with a clear head. What we know for certain. The report about Suga being an early SpaceX investor originated from a trusted Korean economic news outlet, Italy, and has since been cited and expanded upon by many major media outlets across different countries. The details about his investment route through Link Asset Partners, the likely investment period before 2022, and the estimated 20 to 40-fold return are all consistently mentioned across these reports. What we don't know for certain, the actual amount invested, direct confirmation from Suga himself, and a firm official statement from HYB specifically verifying the details of this report. So is this news true? Based on the credibility of the sources and the consistency of reporting across multiple outlets, there's likely a factual basis behind it. But until there's an official confirmation from the parties involved, this news remains firmly in the category of credibly reported, not officially confirmed. So that's the full story behind this surprising piece of news. Bts Suga reportedly quietly becoming one of the early investors in SpaceX, and potentially reaping tens of times his original investment once the company officially went public in the largest IPO in US history. Regardless of whether every exact detail turns out to be true, this news serves as an interesting reminder that behind the glamorous stage and the spotlight, many K-pop idols may have another side that's rarely exposed, including how they manage and grow their wealth. What do you think? Do you believe Suga is truly a genius investor behind the scenes? Or are you still waiting for official confirmation before you fully believe it? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the latest updates on the K-pop world and everything behind the scenes. See you in the next video.